way. I know the sign says this way. That is precisely why you shouldn't follow it. Paths that announce themselves are usually the least interesting ones. You are learning. Good. Curiosity is much more useful than certainty. Welcome. You've found the place that cannot be found. Oh, no, don't look around for a building. There isn't one. Not exactly. Buildings are rather confident things. They insist on having walls, floors, roofs. This place is more flexible. It appears differently depending on what you expected to find. To some, it looks like a forgotten railway station. To others, an old observatory. One visitor insisted it was a garden shed. I still don't understand that one, but they were very happy, and happiness is sometimes more accurate than logic. You're wondering who I am. Understandable. Most visitors ask. I am the cartographer. I map places. All of them, not just the places you know, the ones you don't, the ones you cannot reach, the ones that have not yet arrived, that almost existed. Ah, yes, that got your attention. Almost existed. A fascinating category. And a terribly large one. You see, humans think a map shows where things are. That is only part of its purpose. A good map shows where things could be. I have maps of forests that will grow in centuries, cities that were imagined but never built, paths that appear only when someone needs them, rooms that exist only for people who have nowhere else to go. The librarian keeps stories, the ocean keeps journeys, and I keep possibilities. Yes, we know each other, the librarian and I. Wonderful being, terrible at returning maps. I once lent them a chart of impossible doors. They kept it for 200 years. When they finally returned it, they apologized. They said, I misplaced it. I reminded them that the map was designed to find lost things. They replied, exactly. It became very difficult to retrieve. A difficult argument to win. Now, let me show you something. This one. Careful. Maps are not books. They don't like being opened too quickly. They have memories of their own. This is a map of your world, not your planet, your world. There's a difference. Here, are the roads you know, the places you have visited, the places you have left, the places you dream of seeing. And here are the places you almost found. No, don't touch that one. That road is sensitive. Yes, a road that you never walked. It appears on your map. Everyone has it. The road you almost took. The person you almost met. The choice you almost made. The life that was waiting but never became yours. Do not look so sad. Almosts are not failures. People misunderstand them. They think every unopened door is a loss. But sometimes a door remains closed because another one is protecting you. Besides, I have discovered something. The places we don't visit still shape us. A mountain you never climbed can still inspire you. A conversation you never had can still change what you seek. A dream you abandoned can still leave a footprint. Everything leaves marks. Even things that have never happened. There it is, the part you were waiting for. Your map. Yes, I have one. Everyone does. But yours is unusual. Very unusual. Most maps become clearer with time. More roads. More destinations. More certainty. Yours has blank spaces. No, not missing, blank. There's a difference. A missing road means nobody found it. A blank road means nobody has chosen it yet. Your future is not empty. It's unfinished. Humans find that terrifying. I find it wonderful. A completed map is useful, but a blank one? A blank one is alive. There's only one place I've never been able to map. The librarian has a record of it. The ocean has felt it. And the moon has watched for it. But nobody has entered. I call it the place between endings. Every time I try to draw it, the map changes. Because it doesn't wait for someone to arrive. It waits for someone to decide. And that is why you're here. Not because you were chosen, and not because some great force selected you. But because you asked a question. A quiet one. The kind people ask when nobody else is listening. Where do I go from here? The universe hears questions like that. Sometimes it answers with a voice. Sometimes with a person, and sometimes with a map. Take this. No, don't worry, it isn't a map of where you're going. It's a map of where you might go. Those are very different things. And please, don't unfold it completely. Why? Because I've never seen the whole thing. And I've been mapping impossible places for longer than most stars have been awake. So perhaps we'll both discover where it leads. When you are ready, look again. You may find a path or a doorway, or perhaps only a little blank space. But remember, a blank space is not nothing. It is an invitation. And somewhere beyond everything you know, there is a place waiting to become real. Perhaps you are the reason it will. Ah, you found it. I wondered if you would. Not because I predicted it. I have explained this before. Maps are not predictions. They are invitations. A prediction tells you where you will go. A map simply asks, where would you like to begin? And tonight, you have begun somewhere unusual, a place that should not be here. No, don't worry. You are perfectly safe, mostly. I should clarify. Safe is a complicated word. A person can be safe and still discover something terrifying. A person can be afraid and still discover something beautiful. The universe has never been very good at keeping these things separate. Come, look at this. No, not that one. That is a map of a forest. A forest that grows upside down. Very confusing place. The trees are quite friendly, though. The birds, however, are extremely judgmental. No, this one. The blank page. You see why this is unusual? Because it is not blank. It is pretending to be. Yes, that is possible. A map can hide. You must understand, maps are not drawings. Not truly. A map is a conversation between what is known and what is possible. Some places do not wish to be discovered. Some places are waiting. Some places are shy. This one is frightened. I know, a place being frightened sounds strange, but places can remember. A battlefield remembers. A childhood home remembers. A forest where someone disappeared remembers. Everywhere collects echoes. this place has been collecting echoes of something that has not happened. You're wondering, how can something remember something that hasn't happened? A very good question. One of the best. Well, the answer is, it doesn't. Not exactly. It remembers the possibility of it happening. Every choice creates ripples. Every moment branches. Every maybe becomes a tiny road. Most roads disappear. Some remain, and very rarely a road becomes aware that it was never chosen. That is what happened here. Long ago, I discovered a map, not a place, a map. It appeared on my desk. No door opened, no messenger arrived, no grand cosmic announcement. It simply appeared. Which was incredibly rude. If something is going to interrupt my work, I prefer a little ceremony. A glowing doorway. A mysterious voice. At least a dramatic breeze. Instead, a piece of paper. Very ordinary. That was the first strange thing. The second was the handwriting. I recognized it. You look surprised. Yes, I recognized handwriting from someone who never existed. The name at the bottom was impossible. I will not say it. Not because it's dangerous, but because names are powerful, and some names belong to stories that are still deciding whether they want to be told. The map showed a place, a village, small, quiet, beautiful. A little collection of houses beside a lake, beneath mountains and under a sky that had never been photographed. The details were perfect, the kind of perfect that only comes from a memory. But nobody had ever been there, because the village was never built. At first, I thought it was an error. Maps can make mistakes, even impossible ones. But then I noticed something. The village, it had roads, and the roads had names. And one road was named the road home. That bothered me, because roads usually lead somewhere. This one led to someone. I followed the map. Yes, even I get curious, especially me. People assume that because I map everything, I have no mysteries left. The opposite is true. The more you discover, the more you realize, and you realize how much remains hidden. I walked, not physically, not through ordinary space. Maps have their own methods. Eventually, I arrived. the village was there. Not completely, not like a normal place. It was unfinished. A house without a door. A garden without flowers. A road that ended halfway. A clock tower with no time. Like a memory of something that had not happened. And then I heard it. A voice. A child's voice. "Are you the cartographer?" I turned, but there was nobody there. Not because the child was invisible, but because the child was not finished. That is the closest description I have. A person made from possibility. A story waiting for its first sentence. The child asked me, "Did you bring my map?" I said, "No." And the child looked sad. Not angry, not afraid, just sad. Then they said, "That's okay. I drew it myself." Do you understand the problem? I had the map. I was carrying the map. The map that brought me there. The map created by nobody. But the child claimed they made it. A person who did not exist created a map that led me to them. And then they asked me a question. A question I have never forgotten. They asked, "Can you draw me a way out?" I've mapped impossible places, and I've charted roads between realities. I've drawn paths for things that had no names, but I had never been asked to map a way out for someone who had nowhere to begin. So I did the only thing I could. I opened a blank page and I waited. Because sometimes art not created by knowing the destination. They're created by finally deciding that someone deserves a path. The next morning, the village had changed. One flower had appeared and one window had opened. One road had extended just a little further. And on the map, where there had once been nothing, there was now a new mark. A place, a real place, with one small note beside it. Still becoming. I keep that map now, not because it is impossible, but because it proves something. Something that even I needed reminding of. A place does not need to exist before it can matter. Sometimes it matters first, and then the universe finds a way to make room. So, if you ever find yourself standing before an empty page, or an unfinished road, or a future that looks like a blank map, remember, blank does not mean empty. It simply means unwritten. And unwritten things are full of possibilities. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a village to check on. The child has requested a library. Naturally, some stories cannot resist finding shelves.